So since our last review,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been having a much better time, especially during the mid game. I
Mm-hmm.
think I've improved that a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and now I have much more idea about what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to bring up one of my recent games to see um, like how I'm doing and whether I can get some learning objectives.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look.
So I chose this game because um, I feel like we want this purely because my AD carry just carried this game quite hard.
Mm.
And there was also a point in which I couldn't silent effectively because my gangplank fed the Riven and refused to silent against her.
Mm.
So that was a bit of a complicated situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll take a look. Let's take a look at this trade. So I think when he's under this much pressure, like when he's this low, there's no reason to rush your spells. I think, in my opinion, here, if I were you, I'd be really conservative with my combo and just use the threat as the combo, right? Because if you just walk up and you just hold everything, he can't do shit, right? He's fucked. The
Mm,
only
so I
time
can
he can walk up is when you waste your combo. So I
so
think
I
we
can
should
just
use,
zone him out,
yes,
right?
yeah, exactly. Just zone him off, and then once he walks too close to you, then you combo him because it's really easy to land your spells when he's close to you, right? It's very
Mm,
easy. So I think you should be using the threat of your spells here, and you would be putting up way more pressure.
I think I wanted to wait for him to walk for the last hit,
Hmm.
but I think yeah, like you said, I could have been more patient with it.
Yeah, because now you're actually low, so you lost all your pressure now. Right. So the fact we're playing Zed versus Vigar, and you have Ignite, right? That's Ignite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the fact you're playing Zed versus Vigar, you have Ignite, and he's pushing you out of lane. That's definitely a red flag for sure, right?
Mm,
Yeah. So this would be the same thing, right? He's no Q. Pressure him, pressure him, pressure him. Walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up.
mm,
Right? You don't have to press anything. Just make him sweat. Deny him all these minions. He shouldn't have access to single these minions, right? There's no reason to be playing this defensive. You even have your J4 hovering you. So if you were leaning bot side
mm,
here, you could just be up in his face. What can he do to you if you're standing here? Sorry. I didn't mean to circle the top side. If you're just standing here, there's really nothing he can
yeah,
do here.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Nice. So I end up dying. Push out the wave. Get a pickaxe. Come back.
You actually didn't realize that like Draven was healthy,
Hmm.
so I feel I flashed for no reason
Yeah.
over the wall.
Yeah, I think this is like Constantly what we're talking about before, right? Like as Zed in this Zed build, you want extended fights. Like I think
Mm,
in this scenario here, like you could just kill the Pantheon. He'll be tanking Ocean Dragon. You have Ignite. You have a fully stacked Conquer. You got all your abilities up. I think even if Draven wasn't here, I'd be happy 1v1ing this Pantheon.
mm, okay.
Okay, it still ended up working out, but could have definitely been a lot more clean, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm not a fan of using your harass on the Veigar here, right? Like I want a base right now. If we freeze frame it, you're sitting at 60% health with 1.1k gold. I want to spend my gold now because again, I'm playing a champion that can pressure lane against Veigar, right? Like you're not playing
Mm,
against an Orianna or something where you can't win lane. At this point in the game, especially against Veigar, you should be heavily pressuring him. So I'm in a scenario right now where I'm too low to ever actually put any threat. I have no sustain. I have no. I'm not full health. Right, I have a lot of gold. So what I would do here is wait for the next wave to show up, and then hard push the next wave with your spells here. Right, just nuke this the wave down, and then you can
mm.
base, spend all your gold, and be on the map pressuring the Veigar. Right.
I think what I usually like, I think I also do that here. What I usually do is I wait for the cannon wave to recall. Like I know I'm low and
Hmm.
I should be basing, but I want to minimize my loss, so that's why I just sit back until the cannon wave comes and then recall.
Right. So okay. So you have to remember that basing on a cannon wave is only good if the enemy has to base as well. And I'll explain why. If the enemy does not base on a cannon wave, when you base on a cannon wave, it doesn't work because if he doesn't touch this wave, you lose this entire wave. By the way, because in season
Mm,
15, the waves kill each other so quickly. So the only way this is good is if you base and you force the enemy at the base as well. Because if he bases when you base, you guys lose the same amount, right? Or you would actually
mm,
lose less because you'd be back on the map. But if you base and he can sit in lane and you come back to lane and he doesn't have to base at any point, like he can lane against you when you're on a fresh base, that's very bad. You're gonna lose, drop an entire wave. So this scenario
but-
here, because he died right on Drake, he's on fresh resources with 2 ruby crystals. You basing on a cannon wave doesn't actually like you know what I mean? Like that's actually good.
mm. Then should I base in the wave before the cannon wave
Yes,
so
and
that I
which would
lose
be this
less?
one, right? Which is what I was talking about, right?
Okay.
Because if you hard one shot this wave, you could base before the next wave comes back, right? And you
Mm,
wouldn't lose anything.
yeah, yeah. Maybe this was something that I have hard coded in my mind in the previous seasons where
Yeah, and the previous season it's much better. This season doesn't work. Again, unless
mm,
the enemy also has the base, like okay, just to make it crystal clear, if this Viger is at 40%, right? Like let's say you had let's say you had 5% health and he had 40%. If you base
mm,
on a cannon, that's fine because you're investing in yourself. Because when you come back, even if you lose a lot of minions, he can't lane anymore, so he has to take a shit base as well at some point. But
mm,
because he can still lane when you come back, you basically lost an entire wave and he lost nothing.
okay.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Yeah, so really, honestly, what I'm looking at so far, if I had to give you a learning objective, right, I really think
Mhm.
we're not utilizing the threat of our spells enough, right? Patience, right? Well, because when I watch you play Zed, you're like spamming your spells. Like again, put yourself in Vigar's shoes. This is super uncomfortable for him. Like if you look at the wave is frozen on your side here, right? Uh,
Mm,
how can he walk up if you hold all your abilities? He can't. He's gonna lose all these minions. But again, you just burn your W, right? Your WQ. Now he can walk up, and then now you burned your R as well. So now he's totally safe. But in reality, if you just hold your abilities, you threaten, you threaten, you threaten, you threaten, you threaten, and if he walks too far up, and then you combo him, it's just way better, right? Just way better.
and what do you think about the R here? Sometimes I know I won't kill them, but I use my R so that they have to leave the lane, and I can have more
Yeah, well, I think the
presence.
problem is again you don't have ignite. I think if he had ignite, this would be fine because now you could kill him with ignite here on this rotation. But because you don't have
Mm,
ignite, he's not actually that scared of staying in lane right now. So I think it's the right idea. I think it's just the wrong time in the game to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, if we just I think overall I think just we need to refine our first 8 minutes, right? And I think the specifics is understanding when to base, right? Base slash nuke waves to base, right? So it would be like again, cannon if they have to recall, right? If not, nuke previous, right? There was that specific thing. There was again understanding it from enemy POV. The Vigar is very uncomfortable versus Zed, right? And so the byproduct is that we need to have more threats of spells with patience, right?
Okay.
And then I think again the other thing already I noticed was again utilizing the Conqueror, right? And that skirmish. Extended trades equals good. It's easy to escape early game fights of that, right? Because every chance so little damage that you spam E spam and to get your W back, and then you're fine. Okay, got Eclipse. Good, good, good. Nice. I like that trade. I think the trades now make more sense to be using them a little more often because he's very tanky, so he's not under as much threat. And you got Eclipse, so your Eclipse poke hurts a lot more than pre-Eclipse. So I'm a lot more okay with you kind of spamming your spells a little bit more now onto him for poke. Yeah, I think this is fine. You're slowly chunking him out. Again, I don't like the R. You don't have Ignite available here. I really am not a fan against Catalyst Vygar, right? He's too tanky at this point in the game. Like, because again, you're burning
Mhm.
a 90-second cooldown for like, yeah, you do a decent amount of damage, but again, you don't have Ignite, so he's not actually dead, or he doesn't have to
Mm.
worry about dying here, right? So I
Mm.
think I would like to see, timing R with Ignite, right?
You mean I should time it like I should R when I have ignite, or I should R when my ignite cooldown is much lower so that I have the threat to all in him with ignite later on since I chunked him down.
Either or. You just the key thing is at a high level. If you're going to use your ults, it better be to either kill them or put enough pressure on them where they actually can't lane and they have to take a shit base, right? And the way
Mm.
that's enabled is with ignite. So regardless, either one is fine. It actually doesn't matter. But like that's the key. It's like either okay, have my ignite available and just 100 to 0 him with my R, or I have my R sued and I can pressure him so he can't farm and he has to drop a wave, right?
Okay.
Okay, you roam bot, you take up the bot wave as well. I don't mind that roam at all. Looks pretty good. Get the Drake. So now what, we got two Drakes, I think. Yeah, we got two Drakes. Pretty straightforward, we just got stack Drakes this game. Okay, get the shutdown. I don't mind burning both suns for shutdown on Riven. Then that's fine. Very reasonable. Got Black Cleaver. Okay, very fed now. I mean, this game should be pretty easy. All you have to do is stack Drakes, right? We don't have to overcomplicate it.
Yeah, but now like my GP is bot and I'm like somehow I'm versus the Riven
Okay.
and the Riven is very fed.
Okay, so I think this is again ability usage problem, right? When you're playing against a bruiser that you can't 100 to 0, you need to be very conservative with your W, right? What I would do
mm,
here is instead of going for a WEQ combo like this, I would actually start with R here, right? Because J4's here. We're gonna try to 100 to 0. Start with R, then hold your W, right? W over a wall or something, right? And then get a double shuriken and then take your W here. And then you can also R this way. So now you've got multiple angles to disengage from.
mm,
Because the reason why you want to do that as Zed against a bruiser is that a bruiser is the only class against Zed that can hold their ground when your R is on them, right? Like a bruiser can
mm.
actually fight you when your R mark is on. So you need to like you need to imagine yourself as a champion that's kiting when you're playing as a bruiser as Zed. You want to be kiting them. Kiting, kiting, kiting.
Yeah,
So the
I should
prop
I should I should not be in the melee distance,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Mm,
because you also did melee R here, right? So because you did a melee R, now you have no way to escape here. So you notice how now Riven hit you with a full combo. Because I honestly think, yes, Riven's strong, but if you actually compare your items with her, you're down like only 800 gold, right? Like she has upgraded boots over you, and she has a cloth armor over you. That's it. I think like you can win this with GPR as well.
mm.
She's not that fed over you right now. You dying is gonna make her now really fed over you because she's about to get a fuck ton of resources here.
So here I keep saying GP to go top, and I'm a bit tilted here.
Well, this is again. Remember what we talked about before, right? You would have to force the enemy to react to you in the side before you move to a play. Notice how again,
Yeah, but
look at stop wave, right?
yeah, I understand that, but like this time, since it's against the Riven, maybe I have a mental block against Riven. I don't know, but like I feel I can't even meet her at the wave because she has so much mobility and yeah.
I mean, she definitely
So
can't run you down the lane, right? Like if you're standing here, right, and she's here, and you just cue the wave from X range, she can never kill you. She can't even come close
like
to killing you.
like right now, if I'm there at the wave, I can imagine Riven flanking me, jumping over the wall, and then just chasing me down from behind because I don't know where she is.
Well, that would be extremely difficult for her to do. You have vision here, here, and vision here, right? The only way she would have to do that is like while you're crossing through the try, going like this, she would have to know that you have no vision there, and loop around without knowing where J4 is. Like you're just like you have to imagine it from her perspective. That seems fucking hard to do as a Riven, right?
Mm,
You have to remember, like Zed is also slippery. She can't just like run up at you and kill you. Yeah, because this is where we're throwing the game really hard, right? Like we're overgrouping right now, and even if you're that scared of Riven, that's fine. Then what I would probably do in this scenario is just play really defensive on top wave until you see Riven, and then you can just catch the wave.
I fat fingered it here.
Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, I think that Riven was probably dead if we were a little bit faster and had a little more better W placement.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, when I watch you play right now, I think let's not overcomplicate it. I think the reality is we can like be very complex with the macro. We can like talk about the macro and refine it. I think honestly, after we've done our last few sessions, your macro is fine. I actually think what
Mm,
I'm really not liking is just your micro. Honestly, like very
mm,
specifically, like I think you have a misunderstanding of how to play versus bruisers, right? And you have a mental block versus them too, which you shouldn't really have as that in my opinion. There was also again the early game skirmishing, right? Ability usage in lane, right? I think just across the board, your micro just needs to be refined, and like that's where I would put a lot of my learning energy into is like how can I improve my fighting? Like again you're getting fed consistently.
Mhm.
You're understanding the high level side lane a little bit better now, forcing the enemy react and farming, right? Your farm is getting better. You are strong in these games, but we're just not getting our damage off. Like it's just as simple as that. Like you're just not landing as many abilities as another Zed would. It's like it's that simple, right?
Yeah,
From this game, there,
yeah.
there's nothing complicated about like trying to match the Riven or like forcing GP back against the Riven. Like this is solo queue. Shit's gonna happen. I'm not really worried about that. I really think it's just like we're just blundering a lot of these fights. Okay, yep, go to the side, force the enemy to react to you in the side, and now you keep farming. This is good. Good, 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 good. Very nice. I love this. Yep, now you force Riven to react. You just W out.
He chases me all the way. I remember this.
Well, the reason why she chases you is that you just blast planted the wrong way, right? All you had to do here was just take the blast pan this way. She only has one jump,
Yeah,
right? She can only jump over this
yeah.
wall, and there's no way she can keep chasing you over the wall now because she has to wait for her Q.
I just ignited for the movement speed.
Like also not to mention, I actually think you all can beat like you can trade evenly with her. Like you might be able to trade your R for her R and it be even because you could just R her and again kite with your W, right? You could like even
Mm,
here, you could just R her, EQ, auto, right? W over this wall. If she jumps the wall, you R back and you're over here again, right? And you can like kite her around. And I think it's totally
mm.
fine. I think you could trade like half your health for half her health, which is fine because you and her are the most fed members, so you against her is fine for the game, in my opinion. Like, let your team play without you. Their team is playing without Riven. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, this again here, right? Like, this is a free kill. The fact that we missed this combo here.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a scenario like why W and R, either only W and combo him, or only R and then use your W to chase him with auto attacks, right? Like I would just start with R here, E auto. Once he's Eing away, now you W to chase and keep auto attacking him and then Q him on the back end, right?
I think I double it first so that I can get the triple shuriken
Yeah, right,
for
but you
the
don't
R damage.
right, but you don't need that at this point anymore, right? Like against a Kane,
Mm,
who full squishy Kane, you don't need that.
mm.
Against the Riven, yeah, you would need that. Against a Kane, you don't need that. Out of curiosity, how much of higher level Zeds do you watch?
Sorry?
How much like GM plus Zeds do you watch? Do you watch like what's the name?
I
Z99 or the other guy?
yeah,
I forget his name.
I watch on Z and
On
BZ.
Zed, there you go.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, do you watch it? Do you watch it for their ability usage? Do you watch how they use their abilities, or do you
I
just
I
watch
try
it for
to
the?
watch
Okay.
I try to watch how they do the 5v5 skirmishes
Mm-hmm.
and how they actually translate their lead, like
Mm-hmm.
what they do after the laning phase. But yeah, I feel it's like it's quite difficult to learn micro just by watching. I feel like I
Okay.
feel I need to like it's quite a puzzle for me to like I do watch, but then um it's just difficult to translate that to your own gameplay because you're just so behind compared to them that like it just feels impossible almost.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say you're behind at all this game, right? For sure. Um, So, but either way, I think this. I really want you to improve the micro aspect of your gameplay. And very specifically, you need to improve your combo usage, like which spells you're using when you need a triple shuriken versus double shuriken, when you need to kite your opponents, when you need to use your E for W, when you need to use your Qs. Like there's like this is the difficulty of Zed. There's so much room to like your champion's effectiveness. Like you can go from solo carrying a team fight to not even be able to kill a support on Zed, right? Like that is the
Mm.
range of effectiveness that has. So the reality is, if you're getting this strong every game, I think it's as simple as the reason why you can't close out the game is as it's literally because your ability usage isn't good enough, right? Like in a game like this,
Yeah.
I actually think your macro was okay. That's totally okay. Your laning was okay. It needed a little bit of work, but overall you got pretty fed. You were extremely fed at this point in the game, right? Like extremely fed before you died to Riven, right? Like you were 2 items at like fucking 14 minutes or something. Let's actually look at
Yeah.
it. You're 2 items at 18 minutes. Like if I'm 2 items on Yoda at 18 minutes, even against all pro players, I win that, right? And that's not because my macro was like some high level macro better than everybody else. My ability usage is that good. I will just kill everybody, right? And so your job, I think, honestly, is like we need to get to the bottom of your ability usage. We need to figure out why are we unable to execute in these plays. And I think what you need to do is just take like literally what I want you to do for your reviews is the games where you feel like the macro was shit, look over the macro. The game where you feel like you blundered your micro, only look at the micro. Don't overcomplicate it. Just pick one or the other to look at. And so what I want you to really do is like be a detective, right? In your micro, be like, okay, like this is a puzzle that I have to solve. What about
Mm,
how could I have used my abilities to solve this puzzle? Like instead of being like, man, fuck this, I have to lane against Riven when my GP's bot.
mm,
I want you to be like,
mm,
how can I actually play against Riven as Zed? That's the mindset you need to have because there are going to
mm.
be games where you have to do that. That's uh,
I
that's
see.
that's something you're going to have to learn, and so that's where
Yeah.
that curiosity needs to come in for that area.
Mm.
Um, does that make
Can I ask
sense?
a more specific question about,
Yeah.
okay, let's say that I have this mindset, but
Yeah.
then I have this game, but
Mhm.
how do I actually approach review and micro, like
Yep.
in the sense like because there are so many decisions that I
Yep.
do, like it's so many different
So
skirmishes,
so what I
and
would do
like
is look at
you can take forever um for each decision, each micro decision that you do, like you can technically review all
okay.
of them. So
So I don't want you to
like,
spend any more than 6 minutes max per review. So I only want you to look at a few plays. Like even if you spend 2 minutes per play, just only look at three then per game, right?
mm,
But the second thing I want you to do is I want you to look at what were the things that went wrong with the micro, right? Like what happened that made this play bad. So like when you play against Riven here, why is it that we lost this? Like what is the reason? So when we actually look at
mm,
it, what is the reason why I lost this Riven? Well, she landed an auto attack, she landed a Q, she landed another Q. I got hit by Kane W. I got hit by Kane Q. And I got hit by Riven Q3. So you just got
yeah,
hit in the span of 2 seconds by both of their bread and butter abilities. So the question
mm,
is, why the hell did that happen? Okay. Well, what are my tools to dodge those skill shots? Okay. There's my actual raw clicks and movement. That's not possible in this choke. Great. So we can rule that out. There's my W and my R. So that's what I look at. Okay. How can I use my W to avoid her skill shots here? Right. So in the scenario here is maybe not even cast my W at all in this scenario, right? The second scenario would be like, okay, well, how can again I dodge her skill shots here? Well, maybe I are too close to her, which means that now I have no way to escape to dodge her skill shots.
yeah,
You see what I mean? And that would be the learning. Boom.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
you look
think
at
that
what goes wrong, and then you figure out, okay, what are the tools on my kit that allows that to not happen, and then reverse engineer.
mm,
That's how you would do it.
mm, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But sometimes I feel like there was a moment where I ult Kane like in the 5v5,
Mm-hmm.
and you told me that I shouldn't have used my W like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if I review, I probably think, well, if I hit those Qs, he would have been dead. So the micro problem is I didn't hit my Qs and that's it. But
Well, okay. Well, the problem is
yeah,
that doesn't change. That doesn't improve your micro. Saying I need to hit my skill shot
yeah,
doesn't change anything. What you need to do is
yeah,
figure out how can I hit my skill shots. That's the question you have to ask. How can I hit my Qs? How can I hit my
mm,
Q against a Kane? Like how do I actually do that? As Zed, how can I get Qs off against a Kane? Well, the answer is what? I need to be able to use my W to get on top of him,
mm,
right? And the reality is, even if you don't come to the conclusion that I came to, that doesn't matter. You're still coming to a better conclusion than what you had before. Like that's how you
So
refine your micro.
it's more about the type of questions that you ask,
Yes.
which lead you to the right.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
That's because it doesn't actually matter what you need to do differently. It's about how. It's like yes, the what is like 40%, right? It's how do I approach it, and that's also why when you look at the micro better players, you're not getting anything because maybe you see what they do differently. You're like like they're in a different scenario than me. I don't know, right? But the reality is, it's like, how can I be thinking like them in the game to to have my intuition to be like that?
Mm,
So what you would do is you would think about if I. So what I would do is like watch Z99. So I would like or on Z. Let's just watch it. Let's just go take a look at on Z team fight real quick. Wait, sorry, on Z. Like what I would do if I were you, I would literally go look at an on Z team fight. All right, let's just go find a random one here. Okay, perfect. We just found a random one. So I would go to this sequence and be like, okay, what am I feeling right now? How would I be approaching my abilities right before I play it out? So right now I'm gonna tell myself like, okay, I don't have W right now. I've got 2 wards. Probably what I would do right now because Ari has no Qs. Walk up and ward this, right? And he just and which is what he kind of does, right? And but notice, look at this. He placed the
mm,
W behind it preemptively. Now, how did he realize he needed to do this, right? Alistar, CC. Ari, CC from Fog of War. He knows that they're going to try to CC him from Fog of War. So if he preemptively places a W here, he can W out before he gets chain CC'd. Right? Boom. He's able to get
mm,
that W out because W's already placed. Alistar would have stunned him there and he would have gotten 100 zeroed. Right? And so now we look at this one. If I were him in this particular scenario, I probably want to go in here. Right? I would just sit back. Okay? And we look at what he does differently. We watch it. Right? So he goes in and he bursts the Zed. Sorry, he bursts the Lee Sin. So now we ask ourselves, okay, that's what he did. He went in with his W and his R and bursted Lee Sin. How did he know that he was safe to go here? Right? Well, he calibrated the game.
mm,
He went in only what? When Lee Q was on cooldown and Alistar went in and Ari has no mana. So you know specifically there's no threat. So he can go in.
mm.
Boom. You notice that nothing, there's no way I would have figured that out unless I asked myself the how. How did he come to that conclusion to do that? What were the variables that he looked at that I didn't see?
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and that explains a lot about why I feel confused.
Awesome. So does that kind of give you some, I guess, a learning objective, something to focus on?
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any questions or anything else you want to ask me while we're here?
I think that was already so helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Well, let me know if there's